Okay, hi guys. Today we're going to look at revision for the whole Unit 1, which will be in your textbook, page 9, the Collins International Primary Maths. Okay, so for revising all of these subtopics, I'm going to give you a very quick review. So the first thing you can write down in your words is um, revision for Unit 1, whole numbers. Right, just a very simple one. So first thing first, let's look at comparison. So comparison, we are looking at which number is bigger, which number is smaller, and sometimes you have equal numbers as well. So these three symbols are the ones we need to remember. Right, so I'm going to give you a few examples just really quick. So this one you can put it as one of the subtopics. All right, so over here, let me see. I can give you 90, and 90 is actually greater than 89. So as you can see from the numbers over here, it's quite small. Let me make it just slightly bigger. So you can see that the pointy part over here is basically pointing at 89. So just remember, imagine this as a crocodile's mouth, and it's liking bigger numbers more. As we say, big is the bigger it is, the better it is, right? So another random number, whereas let's say 67. And 67 is actually smaller than 70. So you can see the difference over here. Whereas this last one, as you would expect it, would be the equal number, meaning the same value itself, it is the same number, right? So this is the most simplest part of this comparison subtopic. And now we're going to look at another one, which is multiplication. So we're going to look at multiplication and also division together actually. So multiplication for 10, 100, and 1000. Okay, this is a little bit too big. So in this one right over here, I'm just going to give you very simple example. So whenever you have a number, for example, you have 49, right? And this 49 itself, when you have multiplication for 10 or even 100 or even 1000, there is one simple thing you gotta remember, and even when there's no working, it should be no problem, as you'll be able to understand how to give the answer right away as well. So when you times 10, for example, and 10 inside of it, there is 1 0. So when there is 1 0, all we need to do is add in that 1 0 into your answer itself, right? As you can see right over here, not much of a difference, right? Now, how about when there's 100? So 49 times 100, you get 4,900, because in 100 there's actually 2 zeros, as you can see over here. So all you need to do is multiplication for 10, 100, or even 1000. You just need to add in the zeros to the back of it. So 49 times 1000, you get 49,000. Because we're just going to add in that 3 zeros to it. So this is the simple part for this multiplication, right? So now we're going to look at division and what happens when it's division. In this case, wait, sorry. So in division itself, let us write a division for 10, hundred, and thousand. So we have to remember whenever it is multiplication, we add in zeros. Division, just think of it as the other way around. So we're gonna take away the zeros, and sometimes when you have decimals, I'll be showing you how. So you have to pay attention for this one. So when there is division, let me put it down here so you can see it clearly, the differences. Let's say we take the previous number, shall we? We have 490 and divided. Let me just change this because I want to put in the division for y'all to see. All right. Let's see. 24 then. That 490, yes. 490 divided by, let's say, 10. Let's start from the simple part. 490 divided by 10, you just need to take away that 1 0 and you get 49. This is the simple one. Whereas let's look at the next one. We have 4,900 we put in divided by 100. So we're gonna take away that 2 zeros from 4,900 and we get 49 as well. Now, what if we have for, let's say, I know you're trying to think that I'm gonna give you this number, but let me add one more zero right over here. So in this case, let us look really closely. Here we take in 1, we take it out, sorry, not take in, and we take out 2 over here, and this time we have more zeros than usual. So we have to be careful, look at the numbers very carefully, because even though this can be quite simple, people tend to make mistakes as well. So when there's 3 zeros, we only remove the 3 zeros, right? So there's one more zero left over here. So what we can do is we can put in 490 as the answer. Remember to look at the number of zeros very carefully. Next, we're gonna look at what happens when there is decimal numbers, right? So let us put in the typical number, let's say 49 divided by 10. So now in 49, just now we had 490. There is 1 0 in it. In this case, 49, there's no zeros, right? So what do? We make it into a decimal number. So let me just zoom in just quickly. So look very carefully. I'm gonna take from right of the last number over here, the last digit, and draw an arrow right inside this. So when there's 1 0, you move into one placement. So your answer will actually be 4.9. Okay, so if you don't get it yet, you can slowly see the examples next so you can focus on it. So once you draw the once you draw the arrow, sorry, you can put in a small dot over there so you can focus where it is. So this can actually be a working as well. So let's try another one. Let's use the same number. 49 divided by 100. So this time, because there's 2 zeros in 100, we're going to move into digits 1, 2, and draw the arrow right over here. Now, this time, it's not inside of these digits anymore, it's outside. So we got to put in 0.49 as the answer. All right, 0.49. Let me just type it out. It'll be much more clearer and neater. 0.49. We don't say 49 for the digits right at the back of the decimal numbers. We usually count it as one number at a time. Now the next one, let's go to 1000, right? So 49 divided by 1000. So this time there's 3 zeros, but we only have 2-digit numbers. So look very carefully at how I'll be doing it. 1, 2, oh wait, this is too big. Ignore that. Let's restart over here. 1, 2, 3. Slightly similar as the one just now, but you can ignore it. So as you notice, I moved 2 numbers and there's one more spacing right over here. I'm actually going to put in 1, 0 inside of this spacing, right? So over here you have 0.49. Over here you have 0.049. So if on your exam paper or even your workbook, don't be afraid to use your pencil to write out your working like this as well. Okay, your marks won't be deducted for it as long as you show us how you do it and how you get your answers. It's basically like explaining in a way. So your answer will be 0.049. All right. If you have doubts for your decimals for multiplication, let me show you one example of how you can do it as well. Right? So let us take the decimals from just now. Maybe I have 4.9. 4.9 times 10. So how do I do this? Is it 490? No. So when there's decimal, you gotta do it slightly differently. So remember with arrow for division, we're going it to the left, right? Now this time we're actually going to the other side. So let me show you. When it's times 10 and there's 10, I'm gonna move this here and draw an arrow over there. So your answer will be, I accidentally moved this, ignore it. It'll be 49. So the decimal will go to the back and there's no point writing 0.0. Your answer will actually be the full number itself anyways, right? So let's see another one so you get the hang of it. So you have 0.49 and you times 100. Same thing, 100 there's 2 zeros. We're gonna move in 2 spaces. 1, 2, draw the arrow, and then we have 0.49. But the problem is there a need to put in the 0 in front? It's not 100, so there's no point. Just put in 49. How about when there's 0.049, the one from just now that we did, times 1000? Again, 1000 there's 3 zeros, so we move 3 spaces. 1, 2, 3. Right? So your answer will be 0049. Again, no point to put zeros to the front, so we're gonna remove that and we get 49. So over here, if you notice, right, division we go to the left, then for the other side we go to the right. Okay, so right now let's look at rounding numbers. Okay, let's see. Rounding. When rounding numbers, we usually see the questions as round to the nearest 10 or even 100 or even 1000. Right, so this one is something that you need to focus on. Let me just make it slightly smaller so that it'll fit with the rest. And I'll put in coloring to this so that you can see the difference. Orange colored for this one, maybe red, slightly similar. Let's not choose red then. Maybe blue. Now, rounding to the nearest 10, let me show you one example. It is also quite simple in a way. Okay, so round, let's see, I'll give you a smaller number first. Let's say it's 88. This is small, okay? Round 88 to the nearest 10. Now, what should I do now? Do I look at the units or do I look at tens? Now, because it is to the nearest 10, we're gonna look at this over here. Like I mentioned in the previous video, I also told you guys to draw an arrow right to that digit itself. So this is your tens because we're looking at 10 right over here, right? So in this number, we have, let's say we have 80 for tens, and we also have 90 if we go slightly bigger, right? Now the problem is 88 closer to 90 or 80? You can draw the number line, all right? The number line, I'll just show you once. The rest of the things I won't be showing you again because it's pretty simple. If you want to look at more details, you can watch in the previous video on our rounding numbers chapter itself. Let us look, we have 80 and we have 90, right? And in between we have 85. Now our number is 88, which is in between 85 and 90. I'll put here 88. So it's actually closer to 90. So let us put here 90. This would be your answer, right? How about when there's bigger number? Let's say it's round 24710 to the nearest 100. So over here, how can we actually see it? Again, because we're looking at hundreds, focus on the hundreds place, right? So for the hundreds place, let me just underline it much more nearer. Draw an arrow to it and write down hundreds so that you'll be, it's not a must to write this down, but it's more of a reminder for yourself, all right? A very important reminder. So when we look at hundreds, we should have 700 and maybe even 800, right? So we can ignore this for now, just for now, as long as you write it in your last answer over there. So we're going to draw this number line over here. It's not a must to draw a number line, but better if you do. 700 and 800. In between, we have 750. So ours is 710, so let's write over here 710. So it's actually closer to 700. So your answer will be, okay, let us erase this first so we can see it. Will be, let's say, 24700, right? So it's 24,700 in this case. That is for the nearest 100. What if you have round, let me give you a random number, to the nearest thousands? Same thing. We're going to focus on that thousands place. All right. Underline it, then count the unit, the place value, look and find for your thousands place. No matter how big the number, we always focus on that number we want to round off first. So we have thousands right over here. So you can write over here thousands. So thousands over here you have 7. Okay, so you have 7 thousands. Let's write 7 thousands, and if it's bigger, it will be 8 thousands. So let us draw this number line real quick. We have 7 thousands. Oh, I just realized we have two sevens now. Okay, 7 thousands. We have 8,000, and in between will be 7,500. This is coincidence, okay? I did not expect 7 again. So your number would be, again, ignore the front numbers. We're going to look at this back over here. 7,301. So it's actually in between 7,000 and 7,500. So you can put over here 7,301. So it's closer to 7,000. So we can actually write over here. Remember to not forget the previous numbers. If not, your answer would be wrong. Okay, so your answer would be 4717000. Okay, 3 digits. So this would be your answer. Just focus very clearly on what you need to focus on. That is one of the big tips I can give you. Because if you don't focus, you won't be able to see clearly of what your answer will be and how to do or how to get your certain answers as well. All right, so let us see. I'll make it much more clearer for you to write down your notes. All right, let me just put green. Now, even though each and every one of these, you should be able to do it already, there's also one more example exercise that you'll be doing it in your workbook. All right. So in your workbook, if you have the International Primary Maths workbook from Collins, you can actually try out this practice or example. Okay. So example would be maybe you have this question. Let's say this one over here. So I'm just gonna copy and paste this question. Even though it's already given over here to you, you might need to see step by step, right? So I'm just gonna show you how. So sometimes you have this kind of questions, and if you know how to do it, that is pretty good. So all we need to do is step number 1. Let's look at this one. Round to the nearest 10, right? Let's see. When rounding to the nearest 10, we need to take 8373. Put the arrow right here, tens, so we focus on it. All right, we focus on that number. Then we have what number? We have 8370. It's closer to 70 more than 80. Okay, we focus on this number over here. Then the next part, we have to take this number, and times 100. Okay, this time we're going to times 100. And we have, let's say, we put in 2 zeros, right? So we have 8370 and extra 2 zeros. This would be your working. Now, the next thing is we have to divide by 1000. So how do we do that? Let's see. We have divided by 1000. You don't have to write it again, it's fine, but I'm writing it here so that you can see step by step. We have to remove 3 zeros because 1000 you have 3 zeros. So your answer will be 8, 3, and 7. And therefore, your output would be 837 as your answer. Just a very simple example for you to see. So you do step by step and then you get your final answer. All right. So if you have any questions, feel free to email me or ask me, and have a look at your Google Classroom if you're in my class. All right. Revising whole numbers 2.1. Okay. We're actually revising from the whole unit 1 that we have done. So yeah, any questions, just ask me, and thank you for watching.